Yeah.
You know, now that there's orchestration platforms or layers and things
Right.
that are a bit more like you could buy them, the real question is, you know, when should you use an orchestration layer and when should you not? Because it's just, you said, Santa, like people have been orchestrating systems for a long time, but they haven't enabled the ability of composability where you can swap things out easily, or you can change, or you can pivot and those type of things. So, but a small shop that comes in, do they really need an orchestration layer, or is this an enterprise thing? Is it a middle tier? Like, where is that kind of fit in? Maybe Santa, if you want to continue that, like what, obviously you guys provide that platform, but when would a customer not be a good fit, or when would you say this is a perfect fit and not?
So, so orchestration sits in the middle, right? It sits in the middle of the front end and the back end. You could have multiple front ends, and you could have multiple back ends. As soon as you have more than one of anything, orchestration has a place in it. If you have the future, if you believe that at some point you're going to add more services in the back end, if you believe at some point you're going to have more touch points in the front end, it makes sense to have a configurable orchestration there. And one thing that I want to actually clarify when we talk about orchestration, it's not about just exposing an existing system with an API. That's just making a system ready to be orchestrated. That's not the same as actually orchestrating the backend APIs and the data. So what, you know, I actually believe that orchestration is necessary as soon as you are planning on building a composable stack, which means multiple backends, and as soon as you have more than one front end. So that, you know, typically what's happening in a composable tech stack today is that a lot of that integration, that business logic, the stitching of data, all of that ends up happening in the rendering layer. Whether that happens in the, you know, server-side rendering or client-side rendering, that's not the question. Point is, it's still very much focused on a specific channel. So you end up rebuilding a monolith. So if you want to get away from coupling your back end from your front end, then the only real way to do that is to create an abstraction between that front end and the back end. So that abstraction can be used and configured in different ways for different channels rather than coded in different ways for different channels.